Hello everybody, Elijah with Fire Creek Forge and Farm. What is that all about? Hey babe. This is my beautiful wife Sarah. You've probably heard her on videos before. Now I'm just looking at her in the viewfinder. Anyway, so you'll notice this pile.
In my mouth.
You'll notice this pile of lumber behind us, and we are doing something new. Not just new, but we're adding something. We'll get into that later. But what we're gonna do today, is build some garden beds because we live in north central Idaho, and while it's safe enough to go outside without fear of suffocating in a snowdrift or getting frostbite, it's still getting pretty cold at night, and we need to create some safe place to grow vegetables, and that includes raised garden beds, which means you can control the content of the soil a lot more easily and concentrate your nutrients and stuff. And so anyway, let's get into it. Yeah, we've got a bunch of 2x6s here, and we're gonna build some raised garden beds. And as we go along, I'm gonna inform everybody a little bit more, or we will, why you're watching gardening type stuff, vegetable growing, on a blacksmithing channel. Very interesting. Okay, thank you. Okay, babe, so we got our lumber moved. Do you want to talk a minute about what it is that your master plan is here?
Okay. That area back there, when we first moved here, it looked like a beautiful English country garden. But we're going to improve it because I want some raised beds, and I want to be able to control the soil and keep the weeds out. And I also want it to look aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah, so we actually ended up getting 2x6 studs. We looked at 2x8s, and we looked at 2x10s, and we looked at 8-foot 2x6s, and the 2x6 studs actually ended up being the most economical lumber, you know, depending on how high you want to make the beds. And we're gonna go 3 high. Is that still the plan?
I think so.
Okay, so
things could change when we get in the middle of them.
Yeah, so the beds aren't going to be exactly 4x or 4x4, but they're going to be close enough, and you save like $1.50 or something like that per board. So it seemed like the best thing to do. So anyway, we got to get these marked off here and start building these.
Daddy, how do you put brown
We got to figure out this number: 45, 46 and a quarter. That'll be half of these boards.
Are you sure?
Yeah, 46 and a quarter. And really close. A few.
We're just cutting these in half because in theory they're 8-footers, but they're studs, so they're a little shorter. So they're not going to be quite 4x4, but they'll be square. We're building. Safety first. You should see JL's face. He's a hard little worker.
So just to show you guys what we have going on here, very basic. You just cut your boards directly in half or exactly in half, and then make yourself a square. You just have to make sure that each side you are putting the correct end on the right side of the other end so that they match and you don't end up with a non-square box. But anyway, we're starting out with 2 high, and I think we're going to go 3 high on some of them maybe. In any event, once we figure out where we're putting them, I'm going to cut a section of 2x4 that is just as high as whatever layers of bed we have, and then put screws in on each side, and that's going to keep everything together. Sun's kind of right in my eyes. It's always so bright. Sarah decided that a row of 4x4 beds would be the ticket, directly out that way, as you can see behind me. So I have a pile of our 2x6s cut in half, ready to make into bed. So the next thing to do is just to get them all screwed together and then stack them up 2 high. That's what we decided. and then tie them together with 2x4s. So I'm going to take this opportunity to talk about what we're doing with the channel a little bit. And for those of you who've been watching for a while, you're probably aware that I'm a professional bladesmith. That's what I do for work, but it is just a part of what Sarah and I are doing as a couple and as a family. So adding this content with growing food and raising animals and the outdoor stuff, it's just an extension of who we are as a family and what we've been doing for actually since before we've been married. So we're excited to bring you guys along on the journey, the adventure that we're on as a family, and appreciate the support on the channel so far, and we are hoping to also sort of appeal to an even wider audience, and hopefully you guys continue to enjoy the content. So don't worry, the knife making is not going away. It's just going to be a bigger and better channel. So thanks for the support.
Hi, Charlotte.
I'm working.
You're a good worker.
It's a little bit touchable.
That's what we have so far.
So I just wanted to point out that we are using treated deck screws, which will allow these to last as long as the wood's going to last, which will be quite a while. But if you don't use treated deck screws, then they're going to rust out a lot quicker. And I would always use screws because nails will pull out pretty easily over a relatively short period of time. Okay, so we have all 4 beds screwed together on the corners. The next thing I have to do is cut 11-inch pieces of 2x4 to go in each corner of each bed to tie the whole thing together. So the way I'm doing this, as you can see, is just putting the 2x4 in the corner, and I'm putting 1 screw per horizontal board in the... Oh, you got a screw for me? Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. And so yeah, 1 per board will be plenty to hold this whole thing together. And since they're already screwed together here, all this is doing is just keeping everything tied together. So this is the fruits of our labor here this afternoon. All 4 boxes are ready to do the final positioning and fill up with good soil. Not sure where we're going to get that, but there's places around, so that will be great. So yeah, our place here in town is kind of a work in progress, and I want to show you something though, because this is not our usual stuff. It's going to be usual, but I did forge a knife today, and